Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to play Garry's mod. So obviously you have to go into Steam, download the thing, and do some other things, but apart from that, that's pretty much it. So once you do that, you're going to start new game and then go to here, but since I'm already recording and don't want to wait a whole long time for it to load, here are some things you want to do. So you're gonna select here, which is single player, which is already set for you. And then if you want to do this with your friends, you can put to the max to either this many, but since I only have 0 friends, I'm gonna be selecting this one. But if for some of you that do have friends, you can set it to either local server, which is usually in the vicinity area, or in other things which I don't really want to talk about, otherwise it will extend the length time of this video. But apart from that, we have peer-to-peer. This is mostly for if you want to make it public so that the whole world can play on. And we also have peer-to-peer or friends only. That's only if you are wanting to play the game but on a public but only friends thing, kind of like you can send it out, and if your friend is across the world and you don't want to have it local. So yeah, the difference between local and peer-to-peer is that local is mostly your internet, Wi-Fi, and router base, so it's in that area. So it's kind of say your family is playing a game, that is local because together, say you and your friend are playing a game together, but he's across country, that it's kind of like these two right here. And another thing is that if you're starting off, since you don't have any mods, you're gonna play on this one. Now, you have to play on GM Construct, but you can play on Flatgrass, but Flatgrass is mostly a mod test server for big things, and this thing has the max player space size, and this map doesn't. So yeah, that's a thing. And for all of you who want to know how to change the language, so over here you can change it from all these different ones Chinese and obviously Ukrainian, and we also have UK, which is standard. We have Japanese, Korean. We also have pirate language and German. So you will do that and look at all these funny things. Look at how they killed my things here. So anyways, we're gonna change it back to English, but most of the languages are kind of broken. I'm not sure why and which ones. So yeah, that's gonna have to be up to yourself. So once you play the game, it's just basically that you have your mouse and you're obviously WASD. You can press space to jump and crouch. You can also walk slower by holding Alt, but that doesn't even have any relevance if you're wanting to either roleplay in a server or something else. Now, something to note is that you have C, which you can use to do things such as ignore a player and stuff. I'll get into that later. I do have some mods are in the way. So here you can select players. Now, this is kind of a great thing because not this, because this is another mod that I have. Now I will put the mods in the description, but with this you can choose player model. I'm gonna pick Kleiner since that's most likely the default model that you have, and since obviously I don't have any thing with that, I'm gonna type in console that. And then, like, yeah, you can see that the player model is changed. But if you want to change it, you can do it faster through downloading some mods and like making it good. There's also body groups. You can like use this to like change some things with the NPCs. Now this player model in particular is from Day of Defeat source. So yeah, most of these are from like Valve-made source games. You have Counter-Strike, you have Half-Life, you have Portal, you also have Day of Defeat source. You also have some miscellaneous ones like the Skeleton and like the Combine model seen in like other areas. You also have like these ones that appear in like some other things. I don't know. But I'm gonna just stick to this one for now. So once you're in, you're kind of wondering what to do. Well, if you press either Q, but for me it's just I have it bound to last weapon. You can do that if you hit escape, go into options, and then oh yeah, it's already selected. But yeah, you can like change last weapon. So basically how last weapon works is that, like, say I have these out, so what I want to do is that if I want to like have it just be crowbar and gravity gun, I have to switch those. But if I want it to just be gravity gun and something else, I can do that, select another weapon by pushing 1 through 6, and then boom. Now, well, we have the crowbar. It's mostly a melee weapon. We have also some other tools. We have the gravity gun. The gravity gun is a weapon. So just quick to mention that if you haven't played Half-Life or any Source games in particular, you're gonna have a hard time with this game. But for most people who go into this game, you kind of will have a good time. So well, you use the right mouse button to pick the object up, and then you use the left one to displace it. But you can like right click it again to set it down, and you can use this to like shoot it. And yes, this is a projectile based weapon. And like one thing to note is that while pressing C, you can like change properties of this. You can like make a gravity. Yeah, like you can turn off the gravity and it will like do things. You can also set fire to it, but since I have V-Fire mod, that's not like really a good thing. We also have keep upright. Now this, yeah, as you can see that it's kind of broken with that, but I'm gonna show you how it works on a more square and like different physics based object. So maybe like this. So what this does is that like it will keep it the same and won't change anything. So it will just remove the keep upright. Also applies to another vehicle. You also have disable collision, and the most weirder of this is drive. I'm not sure what this does, but I think it's maybe to like move objects more greatly with the physics gun. And speaking of the physics gun, it's another thing that you can use. You can left click for objects. You can also right click to freeze objects. You have to like quickly switch to the next one. R is to unfreeze objects. And if you're having a hard time, the information is in the bottom right corner, as you can clearly see. And you can also, well, this is not mentioned in it. Oh, it is mentioned. You can press E, and it will, like, with your mouse, when you press E, you can, like, move the object so that you can, like, do some other things. You can also, like, use the mouse wheel, and if you're, like, very quick with your mouse wheel, you can, like, shoot objects just as you do with the gravity gun, but since like my mouse is kind of broken, it's mostly a lock, as you can clearly see. Well, you can't see, but it's kind of a lock, so basically it doesn't like go smoothly like others. It's kind of like you could jump forward and stay that way kind of thing. So yeah. But apart from that, there's also V, which is normally for no clip. You can use this to get to places that you don't want to and some other things. And now time for the weapons. We have sidearms, which is kind of like pistols and revolvers, but it can be other things if you don't have different add-ons. We have 3, which is your SMG's assault rifles. We have 4, which is mostly sniper rifles or shotguns and other kinds of things like rifles. We have 5, which is primarily explosives. And then we have 6, which is mostly miscellaneous and tool gun stuff. The tool gun is accessed through this menu, but you can press 6. This kind of has like different things. We have the remover tool, so say like there's like a prop that you need to delete and you don't want to waste time by pressing Z. You can just do that and then boom. And R is I don't know what this does. I think the right click button in R is mostly for like dupe-related stuff. I don't really know how to like do that one. We also have thrusters. Now, one thing I see YouTubers doing that I have a really hard time is that they do this, and then like all of a sudden it just does that. So basically what you're supposed to do, I'm gonna turn the sound off because that's really hard on my ears. What you're supposed to do is place it in exact things like that, and then it pushes it. But since like I picked the wrong vehicle for the job, which is like a Leopard tank used by Germany, I'm just gonna throw it away. There. So Z also like removes things, but if you have a hard time, you can go to utilities and hit cleanup, which is like, it also resets the map too, so if there's like a bunch of things going on, you can like just quickly reset everything so that nothing happens. We have also server settings, sandbox settings, and also this one is for user, so if you're the admin, you can't like, so if you're not the admin, you can't use any of these. But let's go to sandbox settings. Can enable God mode and allow PvP. This is mostly for like if you want like, so if you shoot your friends, they'll lose health, but if you turn this off, they won't lose health if you shoot at them. And this is mostly, these down here are mostly for like other things. So like if like, oh, I can only spawn like only like 4 ammo crates, so I'm gonna get out the 4 ammo crates. So yeah, I hit the limit, so that kind of puts some restrictions on the game. So if I just do this, then with any of those, I can be able to spawn more, and I don't have to like worry about like limits. But for most mods that, so for the regular Half-Life 2 things that are embedded into the game, and not for like things that are like other things, I don't know. But yeah. So I'm gonna like quickly mention something before I go. Now, the games thing, you most likely know games, so seen that. So this is a thing that allows you to have like maps from all of the source games, such as like Team Fortress, Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat. Yeah, that's kind of like crazy. So basically it allows you to like have the things from those games, as well as like have the Counter-Strike source textures. Now, this is a problem in the gmod community because oh man, lunch. Oh man. So if you don't have Counter-Strike source, then like you'll have purple and black and like a red error sign. I don't know how to spell error. I think it's like in one of these things. I'm gonna go to Garry's mod and see if so yeah, it's like a red thing that so like so if you have like a custom prop, just pretend this is custom prop, it will not load, you can't interact with it, and it will say error. And the purple and black thing is kind of like a staple in the gmod community because it shows like the amount of pain that it is to like have custom textures and also Counter-Strike source textures. Now, well, like without it, most things in gmod can't work. So like custom maps and stuff, they all use Counter-Strike or some other things. So if you don't have that admin's things installed, you're pretty much on yourself alone. So yeah, you can't really play the game without like any of the assets. So you have to like have it installed. So you have to like go here, and if the box is not checked, please make sure that it's checked. And most of these games are mostly either you don't have them, or you do have them and they're just not loaded, or that they're just removed from the game. So apart from that, we will now go on to weapons. Now the main focal point is Half-Life and others. Now the thing is that with most weapons there's a right click that does a special action, but I'll get into these in another video. You'll have like a stun stick, which is modified in like another mod I installed. We'll also have the slam, which I'll get into in another video. And we also have bug bait, but it's broken due to like a mod that needs globals to work. So like so I'll try and spawn in an ant line. So it's not my friend, as you can see. It's trying to attack me. You can hear that it's like making the sound, that the friendly sound, but it's definitely not like friendly, as you can see. That's clearly attacking me, so we have to take it out. You can also press reload, but if you like have your entire ammo depleted, it does it by itself. But if you just have it just halfway depleted, you have to reload. And also another thing with server settings, you can have no clip speed or deploy time. So basically if you set it to a really low number, yeah, but if you have it like high, you can like yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I'll just set it to the default value there. I think this was the default value. That's like too quick. So yeah, it's kind of like that. So you have zombies. No, I'm gonna start from the beginning. You have animals, which is like crows, pigeons, and seagulls. They only work on this map, but due to the nav mesh, it's kind of broken. So yeah, it's not working anytime soon. You also have Father Vigori, which is kind of strange how that he's an animal, but I think it's just a joke because of how crazy he is. Because he's like very crazy. So we're gonna have to take care of him swiftly. Yeah, as you can see, most of the important characters, like Father Vigori, Alex, and Barney Calhoun, they like have like very high health, but one thing to note is that you won't see this guy or this guy in the game if you won't have them. It's because you don't have Half-Life Episode 1 or 2, and also with most of the guys that I don't have is because Half-Life 3 isn't out. So yeah, that's kind of a problem. But if you do, you can like spawn these guys and like kind of have fun with them and like do some weird stuff. So yeah. We also have like the Combine. These are kind of like soldiers and stuff. But if you have either a reskin of them, they'll either go here or like in a separate folder. You also have this kind of selection. You also have the example NPC. Now, this NPC is only to test whether or not map's AI node is working. So if you spawn like a bunch of these guys, you can see that they're moving around. But in maps that don't have an AI node mesh, like a nav mesh for them to walk around or something, then that's where this comes in. So if the NPC walks around, that means that the nav mesh is working. But if it sits down, kind of like that, without moving, then that means that either the nav mesh, either that there's no nav mesh whatsoever, or that means that the nav mesh is most likely half finished or completely broken. So yeah. We also have zombies. Now, I have a reskin mod, so that means that there's like a bunch of reskins and stuff. But one thing to note is that there's also zombie soldiers and also other things. Now, this is most likely... Now, this is a combined folder of zombies and aliens. Now, this doesn't mean that the zombies and antlions get along, because obviously they don't. As you can see, they don't get along at all. How is that even possible? So, apart from that, you also have disable thinking. So when I spawn these guys, they don't aggravate on me unless I turn this off, and they'll aggravate on me. There's also ignore player, so like I'm gonna spawn in Combine soldiers. And, oh. So they will focus on other players. No, not on other players, other NPCs, and they will ignore me. So I'll do that. But it is kind of like wonky, so they will kind of just stare at you and just do nothing, which is kind of strange. And also there's keep corpses, which just turns any dead NPC into a ragdoll, as you can see. I'll turn it off so that you guys have a clear perspective of what it does. So as you can see, this guy is not a ragdoll, but this guy is. Now, you want to have this off unless you're playing on like a modded map or something. So like a NPC battle map. So, oh, it's already off. So you're gonna have to keep corpses off so that, yeah, nothing like breaks your PC. But if you want to see things, you can like go here and change settings like shadows, thrusters, fizz beams, some other things. So here you can see the map in the top right along with FPS. That's your frames per second. That shows you like how like much like a game is like having to do. So I'm just gonna spawn in some things. So as you can see, it's kind of like breaking down. You can see that it went from yellow and kind of flashing red. So now, since I put that down, it's kind of a good 100 to 60 frames per second. Yeah, so we'll go on to vehicles. Now you have chairs. These are mostly either roleplay and dupe-based things. I'll get into dupes a bit later. You also have now this one chair and this one don't show up at all unless you have episode 2. I mean, yeah, it's episode 2. My throat hurts. I need water real quick. Now we're going to start off simple like the buggy from Half-Life 2. Now you can equip the tail cannon, but this does not work unless you have a mod that forcefully puts the weapons on there, but for now I'm just going to mess around. You have control, which puts a third-person camera. And one other thing is that if you have like no infinite ammo mod, you can like reload your SMG ammo up here. Yeah. The max ammo capacity is 9,999, but mostly it can go up because this infinite ammo mod is janky, so you can like push the amount of ammo that you receive in the right middle of my screen, so it's kind of like at like a unimaginable number. So yeah, now time to get to the car, because yeah, well, it's a Jeep, but yeah. So you have like the simple right and left, you have back and forward and back. You also have a booster. The booster only works if you're going forward, so here's my normal speed. Now it only lasts for a few seconds. You do have space bar, which is your brake. Now S doesn't brake, so you need to press space, otherwise you're gonna crash into a wall and cause some serious damage, as you see. The Jeep does not work in water. The pod is just a thing to make it look like you're sleeping or something. I have no idea. You have the airboat. Now this is the thing I mentioned with the prop. So yeah, it does the same thing with the keep upright props. So like if I like do this, it will kind of like just do that, kind of like this. But this one is kind of like less subtle than that one or something. So it's just mostly in the chapters where you're flying around and stuff. And due to it keeping upright, there's some dupes in the workshop that have like it being a flying machine or something. So we're gonna take it. It doesn't have a boost, and unlike the oh man, my throat. Unlike the buggy, it doesn't have a flashlight. Oh yeah, the flashlight doesn't work because I have it modded, but it will work for you because you don't have the mods that I do. Oh man. So yeah, it will work on water. It will like move around. You can like do things and stuff. And one thing I don't see on the workshop is boat-related add-ons a whole lot. It's mostly ground vehicles and mostly air vehicles, but you don't have any air vehicles apart from this terrifying thing that shoots 100 bullets at you per second and can move around in this map. So yeah, I'll leave PvP for later. Now we have saves. Now I don't want to get into this one because I know that you're gonna just make a stupid FNAF save. So I'm definitely not gonna tell you how to make a stupid FNAF save because they're all over the workshop. And also people are putting petitions out to Gary Newman to try and remove FNAF mods, FNAF, like Five Nights at Freddy's mods from the workshop, and also the saves too. Because if I go into top rated, oh, well, oh god, yeah, just one click here and there's already like 5 FNAF saves. Oh my god. We also have dupes. This is a top-rated dupe. Now, the old thing with dupes is that, like, you couldn't see where they spawned, but now with, this, you can see where they're gonna spawn. So, yeah, you can see my frame rate's going down. And if the mods are frozen or something, you just have to press R. And then it does, like, 10 objects. Now, this one is controlled by arrow keys. So I'm moving it, like, with arrow keys. You can use this to, like, mess around or just, like, play around with stuff. And this is mostly thruster-based. But I think that's enough from, the ship. I think it's most likely time that we do some other things. So yeah, if you want to find a dupe, just go to top rated. And oh yeah, that's sad. Rick May died. Yeah, rest in peace, man. Yeah, so here's the rainbow flying car. Flying. Oh, okay. Yeah, I spawned the wrong dupe. So as you can see, that it's like a flying machine with some really interesting words. So shift and space is to make it move. So let's get in. So you can see the fact that, like, it is, some people make a flying machine. And this does have the thing I mentioned, the gun. There are physical limitations with the maps, so don't be surprised if you crash into an invisible wall. Because this is, like, Half-Life and Source Engine, so the Source Engine doesn't have time for open maps. There are maps that are bigger, but they either need, fog or low texture rates and, like, nothing else because of how big they are. There is an infinite map, which I will showcase in a future video. And I don't want to spoil it due to it being so good and so good. And due to it being so good, I had to delete all my add-ons just to play it. But I'll have it in, like, another video and just explain. It just be audio, but you can, like, play the map and listen to my audio while I do it. So, yeah, apart from that, that's kind of good. So, well, if you want to, like, mess around, or maybe you download some add-ons in the workshop, I'll show you how to download some add-ons in the workshop. But for right now, it's kind of like this. So, yeah. Apart from all of the craziness that you experienced and all of me kind of like having my voice deteriorate, yeah. This has been me explaining how you can like start up Garry's Mod and start your own adventure in the game.